what we're going to do, what we've arranged for you, is we're going to spend a few hours in a pub.
Oh! No, we're not.
No.
Shut up!
No.
No. Am I Christian?
No.
Your seat, please.
Yes.
Please. Is that
Is there going to be other people or is it just us?
Oh, I'm kind of scared. We're actually going to... This is a joke.
It's a pub that we've set up for you in the dance studio. Complete with a cocktail waiter.
Oh!
A pool table.
Oh! Okay, now it's
Pub grub.
Oh, now we're talking.
Wait till 1 o'clock.
And a quiz. The winner of the pub quiz will get a voucher that will excuse them from one of Mr. Adams' morning workout classes.
Kevin wins.
Then we don't have any forever.
Well, what kind of...
As you can see, the thought of not having one of you on a morning of your choice, a get out of the dance card free class, is I think what we would say in the Monopoly world. The thought of that has obviously left Mr. Adams stunned.
I'm going to do
Kevin is open-mouthed on this one.
What was those tickets?
You all right, Kev? You want to sit down?
Lamar, I think you need to hear this, don't you? You might. Okay, you might.
Don't even try it. That's actually shut up, man.
No. Listen to this.
You lifted them that night.
Donkeys have lovely breath.
Is what?
Donkeys have lovely breath.
That's something I would not know, having never experienced donkey breath. But thanks for sharing. Come on, Lomar.
No donkeys in Essex for you.
I'm from Finchley. Stop saying Essex. Don't worry about them ones. Come, Lamar.
Poor Kelson, a black man, huh?
Right, this is what happened. There was an incident that happened after the pub quiz when you won the award, and since then we searched the students' room and we found the tickets in Malachi's jacket. And I know how much distressing that is for you guys to know that your so-called friend who you trusted, and some of you have even shared saliva with, David.
Get your hands off me.
Yeah. So, because of that, you two can go back to bed.
Really?
Come on, girls. No, where are you going? You're coming in there. Don't worry about them ones. Come on.
Oh, no. They weren't fighting, mate.
Don't like you anyway.
Hear him.
Never liked you.
Hear him laugh.
Or you.
They weren't fighting.
Bastard. You slimy bastard.
Yeah, they weren't fighting.
Stunning! The final three, with their own unique version of the Blondie classic, or one way or another, is Sinead!
Captain, he was so excited.
You dropped it. Oh, no. Listen.
You should have plugged the guitar back up. Or what?
She looks so little. For some reason, I don't know why.
You look great.
Did you hear the last part of the words as well?
Very interesting lyrical changes going on there.
I know, I was just a bit stunned by the guitar.
Totally. I thought you did really well. So, did you have the radio pack for the guitar attached to one side on the strap and one side on the guitar? So you'd have had to step out of it, wouldn't you? Because I was thinking you could have done that, but then you'd have had to step out, wouldn't you? Because you were still actually attached.
It was still kind of around me, but it was kind of hanging as well.
You did really well, actually.
I thought it was going to fall to the floor at one point, to be honest.
Because it must have been really heavy. I was thinking your arm must have been like trembling by the end.
People probably looking going, what is that stupid girl doing? She's just holding a guitar.
No, you could see that it suddenly went. On screen, actually, I didn't even notice it. I was just thinking, why she stopped playing? Why isn't she playing?
Why is she not playing this?
Yeah.
She wants to give her a vocal.
I didn't realise. I have to be honest. I just know, I was just
Every
thinking,
rehearsal, it was no problem.
and I was worried because I thought, I know what their questions coming to me is, so did she get her lyrics right this week? And I thought, oh no, what am I going to say?
They didn't ask you that, they did?
No, because they realised that the strap had broken, so it went on about the guitar thing. How do you feel about that as a performance?
It was all right. I think the guitar strap put me kind of off track a touch, you know, lyrics and stuff. And, I don't know, probably wasn't my best, but it was all right.
I think it was your best performance.
Did you?
I think it's the best performance you've ever given in the show.
Right.
So far. Up to that point in the evening.
Very good.
I thought you sounded great vocally. I thought you looked totally confident.
I was totally confident with that song. Loved it. Loved doing it every time.
And I really felt that you were able to get your whole personality into it. You know, very, very gutsy performance.
What do you think, Richard?
I'm with you. I didn't think it was that great.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what it's all about. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
But I better explain that, because that is a throwaway, that's a throwaway one-liner. So, my own hearing of that was that just vocally, it just seemed to be a bit, I hesitate to use the word flat, but go on if you persuade me. Just once or twice I thought it, you know, it didn't sort of roll with the punches a little bit, you know. And I still, there's a bit to do, and you've got to want to do it, to amalgamate that sort of correct singing style, if I can put it like that, with the way you look and the way it feels. And, you know, whilst you might not think this is your thing, a song like that has to be sung with an element of sexiness. And I don't think that came across from you just now. The big issue is, next week you'll be singing to win. You know, the blunt truth about this today is it's the first prize, and then there's a couple of other people. As David gazes somewhere into the far away. That is the truth. And he's thinking, oh, here we go again. He's trying to create a competitiveness.
I thought she was brilliant. I really did. I watched it on Friday night after the show. I remember thinking during the show, that's great. And watching it back there again, I thought you were great, Sinead. I really thought you were great. If I was a punter sitting at home watching that, I'd have been very excited about your performance. And I noticed that the guitar went as soon as it did on Friday night. I noticed it fall down, and I couldn't believe that it was just... In fact, for me, I didn't even think... I didn't know you'd forgotten the words or anything. I just thought you'd just gone, oh, my guitar's falling, big deal. Carried on with it.
I was kind of thinking, right, in the second verse, should have picked it up.
Right, we're dedicating Mr. Charmaine.
Yes.
Okay, well, singing the Prince Pen classic,
Sorry,
Nothing Compares to You. Ladies and gents, it's Lamar!
I felt the song. I think note-wise I was alright, but I wanted to get a bit more, you know, like you said, more tone out in the end, which, because I think I got a bit emotional into the song. You know, I thought about that, but also I was doing that quite a bit on the mic stand.
Do you? I do like to do that for you.
I was reading that quite a bit. But, as a performance in general, I think it was quite good.
I think it was one of those performances where you really put your heart into it. And I think it suffered for that in some ways, but then on the other side you put your heart into it, which is a good thing, because we got the real person. I think there's a few tuning issues. I think tonal stuff, there's breathing, some of the breathing stuff. And more for me than anything, and I was thinking this as you were singing, I was desperately screaming in my head, open your eyes!
Yeah. Do you know,
Open your eyes.
right at the beginning, I had to close.
I know the first line you were meant to have
and
them
then the
shut.
second one I kept it shut because, you know, it was just the strings in the beginning.
Yeah.
When you come to the front, there are people right at the front monitors, and because there's only strings,
Yeah.
when if you see, when I sang the first bit, the chord changed a bit quicker than I anticipated.
Yeah, you were behind it, yeah.
So I was listening, there's a that comes into it.
Yeah.
So once I heard that, I thought, okay, I know where the timing
actually
is, but
throughout
it's just like,
I think you actually really sang that. You allowed us to see a bit of how you really felt on Friday, and because of that it made you close your eyes. It was just too vulnerable. That's what it looked like to me, but as an audience, if I was watching it at home, I was kind of willing you to open your eyes because you weren't really letting me in. But you know, so that's actually quite a few things you need. You know, that's a breathing, tone, and tuning, and your eyes shut. That's quite a few things technically, but for me, I think that you did put your heart into it, and I think that carried. It's a very passionate performance.
I agree with that.
Really
Definitely
passionate,
puts heart into it.
really moving, really moving.
David?
Aye, it's funny, I think it's funny talking about Lamar's tuning and tone, because it's always something the past couple of weeks I've admired. But it's true, you know. But I mean, that the heart that you put into it was good, you know. I watched it on Friday night, and I've watched it again just now, completely with you in the song, you know. I personally didn't notice the eyes thing, but you know, the tuning thing is weird. But I was with you all the way through it, watching it.
So much better than the previous week. So much better, as it turns out, a song for you. And yeah, I think, as I said on the night, some of the conversations that have been had since last week definitely brought more out of you. The big question for me now is, can you win from that point? Are you going to have another week like the week you had? Hey.
Yeah.
You were. So, you know, can you then find that next level inside you? I mean, I was miles more impressed by that, and you will know why. And I would be happy now to run both performances back to back and return to the conversation. Seriously. You know, Carrie.
I think that Ainsley really built on the performance that he did the week before. He's still got to tuning things, but I think that he knows what they are now and he will improve. The one thing I do think about Ainsley, just going out in the public and hearing people speak, I think Ainsley really inspires people either love him or hate him.
I know.
Absolute extreme reactions.
Yeah.
And that is perfect for a long-term career. Because that means the people that love him generally are a slightly older, market 25 up, and they are people that will stick with him. You can go for the kind of millions of people loving you, but they'll love you for a year.
Yeah.
Or you can go for that thing where you've got a lot of people that maybe don't even like you, like he would have, but the people that do feel really kind of that kind of indignant, but I really like him, you know, and they'll stick with him and they'll stick with. I think he's never given any performance that contradicts the previous one. That's what I love about Ainsley's performance. Every performance builds on the last. Every performance says, I'm Ainsley, this is me, warts and all, I contradict myself, I am who I am. And I think for that, and I think he's also maintained a lot of mystery. There's still, if I was buying my Sunday papers today and there was a magazine, an article about Ainsley in it, I would want to read it because I want to read what he's got to say. He's still of immense interest, his quotes, his sound bites, he's a very interesting person, and I think those things in the long term are what people will look for. So I'm talking about Richard, but I think he has quite a secure career, actually.
He'll write a great album.
Yeah.
He will write a great album. I think that's the most
He's got a very
important thing.
commercial ear.
Yeah.
He's got a very, very commercial ear. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would endorse everything you say. That boy is going places. I think this is one occasion where you're right, coming out at this point is probably going to be quite advantageous to him. But I mean, I thought that was a terrific performance.
Yeah.
I'm sure he missed a note, but I mean,
Yeah. The passion of it, yeah. He looked drained after it, actually.
Drove that through, didn't he? I mean, I tell you what, there was a guy doing everything that he knew to win the contest, but it still wasn't enough because, as you say, he's a love-or-hate figure because people have seen him do a lot of quite bizarre things that they're not all that comfortable with.
Like my daughter's school friends.
Exactly.
He's really creepy.
Even really supposed to be here. I'm here by default. So the fact I'm in the final four is mind-blowing for me. So.
But you think you can go on to this final three?
I don't know. I mean, the other guys are amazing, so if I do, I'll be happy, but I don't know. I'll just wait and see.
Well, you know what? You'll have a ball trying anyway, won't you? Yeah. Your family's down here supporting you again. The song was a hit for George Michael and later for Robbie Williams. They're big shoes to fill. But if you think he pulls it off, get on the phone. Singing Freedom. Good luck. Here's David.
That's one good thing that I got. I won't let you down. So please don't get
Carrie.
Oh, can we go to... I want to hear what David... I want to hear what David's got to say, actually. Would you mind? Sorry.
I enjoyed that. When I was up there, when I got into the... like, you know, at the start I was up there and I was thinking, right, relax, chill, tone. And then as soon as I hit into the angry stuff, I really felt it. I was like, as soon as I started going, I think there's something you should know, I suddenly went, there really is, you know? And when I stopped thinking about my vocals. I don't know if they were maybe affected slightly, but it's the first time I've done a performance, even with them Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, I was thinking about it. It's the first time I've done a performance and just lost myself in it. I completely, the words were just, as soon as I got into it, I think there's something you should know, the words just took over. And, I mean, it's funny, I don't know what that was like as a performance. I don't know, I couldn't tell you.
And watching it back, can you see that in yourself? Can you see that?
I can see anger in the way I'm singing that strong bit. I can definitely see it. It's funny because there's a lot of, looking back on it, there's a lot of things I remember doing as well that the camera hasn't picked up. There's a few, you know, little growls and, you know, things, but I don't know. I mean...
It's funny you should say that, actually, because, excuse me, the camera hasn't picked up quite a bit of your better movement and how you actually got the audience, rather than going there as you were shaking the hips and giving it a bit of a groove. And you know, I thought that worked extremely well for you. You know, what I said at the time, if we're to compare it, and we shouldn't do, this is unfair. Exactly. But George was viewing the show. I can tell you that was actually true, not false. And I did think it was better. I thought it was a difficult song to carry off. And I do think you carried it off. I was, you know, very pleasantly surprised by that, and also pleasantly surprised as well by the movement. And you do seem to have accepted the challenge pretty well. But again, I think it's going to be, you know, I think you got two great songs this week. When I think about it, suddenly, when they heard you sing Freedom, then they heard you sing Act, they think, God, this guy's on the George Michael plane. Pretty decent plane to be on in my view. I'm slightly biased, but that is a pretty decent plane to be on.
I think it really built on your... I think it's quite a breakthrough performance for you, actually, because I think it was stiller. A lot of the stuff that we talked about last week, it would have been easy to take the beginning of that song and make it like the point where you're leaning over with the mic and do the whole thing like that. I think the stillness at the beginning was really good. I think the vocals are so much better. Really, really vastly improved. I think it's just building on that each time, and then, like you say, getting lost in it and keeping your head together on it, the whole thing. I think that was quite a benchmark for you to do an up-tempo number that works really well, and I think you can build on that. I think it was really good.
Lamar, what did you feel?
I thought it was a good performance. It's like what you said. What got me in that one was the presence. Like what you said, his presence on the stage. I thought it was very good.
I also noticed you're playing the cameras, which is good. You've learnt a lot about how to do a TV performance. It's a really important thing for an artist, learning when to play them and when to not. When you know they're like that, but actually you just want to play this because you know it's there and you know it's on you, or you want to do eyes down the lens. And I can see that you're doing that more, which is good. It's a good thing for all of you to develop.
But next week, of course, will be a vastly different week. Do you think you're going to win?
I don't know. I mean, I can hand on heart say, and I know it's not what people want to hear, but I didn't think I would get in the last three. I mean, not getting in at the start, I'm quite, you know what, I'm quite a confident person, but I'm not so...
Never.
I know, I'm quite a confident
No way,
person,
David.
but I'm not arrogant, and I just, not getting in at the start and everything, I didn't think I would get this far. So getting in the final three still today is a huge surprise to me.
It's quite amazing to think that two of the three people sitting here were two of the three that were trying to get in on the first week.
Only Lamar came through those doors on that opening Friday night. That does seem about 3.25 lifetimes ago.
It's amazing, isn't it? Really
you know, Lamar, you are representing all those other people Katie, Pippa, Camilla, Nigel.
No, I'm not representing me.
Marley, you're
They're all on
representing
your
Marley.
shoulders, son.
Shane, what did you think about the Scotsman? The remaining, we can now call him the solo Scot.
It was good. I thought there was some breathing stuff, though.
Was there?
I thought. Personally, it was brilliant, though. But I thought there was some breathing where you kind of got into it a lot, and then if you lost breath at some parts. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think it is I think that's what I would have said, but then that's why I wanted to hear what David had to say, because then he gave the reasons why, and I think that's right. You did lose the vocals a bit there, but I know it is that thing, like we always say, the balance of performance with the vocals, and I don't think you lost them so much that it distracted from the performance, but again, it's keeping all those, playing all those games.
Although you didn't expect to get here, I mean, you've got here now. This is final week. There will be a lot of publicity. You know, that's one thing we must appreciate, that the publicity levels, which have been apparent but not, you know, that large, will suddenly be very large. You're conscious of what that means in terms of an extra weight of expectation. You'll have everybody in Scotland hoping you win. Everybody in Scotland hoping you win.
Yes, got a whole country.
Across there, meanwhile, in the Emerald Isle.
Damn. Ireland, Sinead boy. They're out in the roads. It was like football. Seriously, they had the police escort and the people in the roads, in front of the shops, in front of the bus stops, in front of all the way on islands in the middle of the road.
They're good supporters in Ireland, I'll give them that.
Oh,
Oh, well, don't forget, you're supporting this part of the world.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
London, massive.
You'll be leading the team out onto the field. We'll have to see this as a kind of football international, Scotland v Ireland v England. That'll be one way to motivate David in here. Oh, look, Sinead's getting up there as well.
Yeah. Finally, they're going to
Come on, Ireland. Come on, Ireland.
Or don't make it in football terms if we're talking about Scotland, because that'll be out at the first round.
But before that, the students have a chance to impress you with their duets. Now remember, the lines are open. There's still time to vote for your favourite and get them into next week's PM Academy final.
First up, performing the Rolling Stones classic Satisfaction, it's Ainsley and Sinead.
Sinead, what do you think?
I was totally out of tune at the start, and I knew it as well. Because by the time I got on to in a try, I was kind of, ooh, I knew it was all wrong at the start. Because the crowd were going mental and stuff. No excuse, like, no excuse, the crowd.
Is that for you? When you go out of tune, do you find that to be a placement thing in your voice or sound? Is it a sound thing? You
I
can't,
think it was
feel like you
sound, to be
can't-
honest, because I got it every single time in the rehearsals.
I was about
you
to
know?
say, I actually think that as soon as we move on from this programme, we need to make sure you get in-ear monitoring.
Yeah,
You're an artist because you use quite extreme ends of your voice. You sing very quietly and very loudly, and both are at the same distance from the mic. When you sing quietly, you don't hear yourself very well. So in-ears
I think so.
are absolutely essential for you.
I knew it was out as well. I knew
Yeah.
it when I was up there. I knew it.
Yeah, but correcting it can be hard. I think also because you do that thing of placement and because you've had throat issues, it's just knowing your voice well enough that you can almost feel it rather than hear it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can feel when it's in tune, when it's placed in the right place, and knowing that. It was out of tune in the beginning, but I actually thought some of your best shots, camera-wise, just giving it eyes, and some of the stuff that Richard was saying earlier, it was really sexy, the front of that.
But I think I've worked it out, Carrie, since then. Okay, so the first one was really tense. You're kicking off the whole show. You've got to find it. You've got to get that rhythm. There's so many things to remember. Bang, the guitar strap goes. In the second one, you're with Ainsley, who was definitely pretty much rowing his own canoe there, it struck me. And so you get through that one pretty well. And I think we'll see at the end, you relax into it with a guy who is a consummate professional, and suddenly, you know, absolutely everything inside you rises up at the one time. And you had 3 goes, and that, I think, will help you in the future. That's just how, you know, having not seen, I've not had the benefit of seeing it back on TV before, but that's definitely how your stuff has come across to me just now. And that was much more what I was looking for. You know. See, I believe that to be able to perform the way that you can perform, there must be something massive deep down inside you. But these are very tense occasions, these live television
It'll get better than that, like, hopefully, you know?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
It needs to.
I think
the trouble is the TV viewers and the people voting don't know that. I mean, they'll be judging on those performances at that moment.
I know what you're saying.
I think these 3 performances from you were the most consistent performances of all the shows that we've seen for you. I think that you found something this last week. I think you need to, whatever it is, just keep going on that tip, because it really, really worked for you. I was really proud of you on Friday. I think you did very well.
Lamar, how was it for you before we see you?
I think it was another one of those performances. We were so
Can you speak up a wee bit?
So I think
for the hard of hearing.
Sorry.
Me.
I think it's, for me, another one of those performances where you're so caught up visually that mistakes vocally, although they're there, they get lost by the end of the song. You're just so into the 2 interacting, the overall look of it, that, especially if you know the song, you're just singing along by that time. You're not necessarily listening to it. You know, but for you as an artist, you know, obviously you're listening to the vocal and that and saying, yeah, I was wrong there, I'm wrong there, you know. But I think as an overall performance, it had quite a bit of energy.
It did have a lot of energy.
Ainsley was amazing, actually.
For that song is, next to Yesterday, one of the most recorded and performed songs ever anywhere. So it tends almost to be a bit of a joke piece at the end. So I think you handled it really well, considering, I mean, you know,
it could have been pastiche-y.
Yeah.
It was really good performance with Ainsley, because 2 of us were bouncing off each other.
Yes.
You know, the energy was there.
Yeah.
It was good.
And on to the next double act.
I thought that was really good fun.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. No, I just wanted to say that to Sinead.
Was it brilliant?
I thought it was good fun to watch.
Brilliant, or?
I don't think it was brilliant, but I thought it was good fun to watch.
Let's see if this one's brilliant then. It might not be fair as we haven't started at the start.
Until the day
Sinead, as they've just hugged, we'll have to turn to you immediately afterwards.
Outstanding, to be honest, I thought. Both of them blended so well together, considering, you know, where they come from. And
considering one's big and one's small.
That's right. I think it was very good, very, very good.
David?
I loved being on stage with Lamar. I think the same as the last one is freedom. The past couple of weeks, I've sort of got that enjoyment back on stage that I didn't have when I first came in here. And now I think you can tell that I'm on stage enjoying myself now. And I mean, again, I think perhaps the vocals weren't as good as they were in rehearsals. But I loved it. I loved doing it. I loved doing that song on stage with Lamar. I really enjoyed it.
And let's hear from your compatriot.
It's I enjoyed the performance a lot. For me again, the vocals for me, I think was okay, but not, you know, not necessarily exactly what I wanted to do. But you know, I think the interaction was good. You know,
Gary.
I think the interaction was good. I think the performance, the energy the performance had, you know, as a whole, made it a very good performance. But you know, if you want to look individually and say, well, then maybe it's a bit wavy.
I thought that David, your performance vocally was really good, especially your first verse. Some really nice stuff in there that I know that you've not used prior to coming into the academy, your low stuff. That I think you're just singing really, really well there. I think you held your own vocally with Lamar. I thought you looked really relaxed. I thought that ad-libs were good. The only thing for me that you do sometimes, which I'm not keen on, is that pose thing where you stop and then you sing. I don't know why. It always... I don't know how other people... Maybe it's just a personal thing for me. I just think you look so relaxed. It's like you almost suddenly go... It's that kind of... Look at me. And I kind of like it when you're more relaxed. I think it just looks more natural. That's the only thing in your whole performance. You do it every now and again. You've eliminated it tons. You did it once in there and I went... Ugh. And then... And the next thing, then you relaxed again and it was great. But vocally, I think it was great. I think you looked really good. I think that was a real vote-winning performance, actually, from you. I think Lamar, it was a weaker performance for you vocally. I think that you've got to give your sound guy more note. Because when you only give him that thing, they can't get much off that. And the chances of that going out of tune are greater. You need to, once you're down in your more baritone kind of sound that you have at the bottom of your range, you need to actually make a point of placing your voice down there.
Also what I tend to do, which when I start the song, I always start with the mic quite a bit, even when I'm holding it, a little bit.
You pull away.
Yeah, until when I got to the middle. When I got to the middle, it was on.
But the middle bit is where you're singing louder, so you pull it towards you when you're louder, and pull it away when you're softer.
It's only 'cause, you know, when I did the I brought it right in.
Yeah,
on that
and that
bit.
sounded
And
great.
that's
Exactly.
But in the beginning,
exactly, you need
where,
to do
where
that.
I come in,
because you're only giving your sound guy, and he's not got enough gain on the mic to do anything with it. And if you look at the size of voices that you guys have, David's is a much thinner voice, but he's got so much cut that you put that down a mic and you can make loads with it. You can make it sound fatter with effects and things. I'm not saying it's a nasty voice, that's a compliment, but it cuts. So it's very recordable, it's very good for live work. Your voice is recordable because actually in a studio you just mic you up like that with a pop shield and you'd get all that warmth. But you need to make sure when you're live that you get more cut on your voice, because that is what the sound guy needs to... Then he can make that sound as good as it... Because when you sing it around the piano, it sounds better than when you sing it on a mic. Your voice, in fact, I'd say that throughout this whole series. I watch the programmes back and I think, you should hear this guy when he's standing next to you. And somehow that doesn't translate down a mic right now on those live shows. I don't think it does, but not as good as it is.
Yeah, I'm going to make a point next week in the rehearsal. I'm going to, you know...
Think about where the mic is,
even
and when you're singing low, you've got to hit lows resonant tones down here, rather than going with those resonant tones. You add loads of air, and then there's nothing. It's not enough sound. Yeah.
Well, that ends the duets anyway. I mean, we'll see your one just now, but I mean, that ends the duets as regards the series. It's now every person for themselves next week with a...
What did you feel about that duet?
I thought actually it was pretty good. You know, I'm desperately trolling my mind to think of things that I didn't think were pretty good, but I think to put these two together and to come out with that was a pretty reasonable result. I mean, I think all the criticisms that you make are entirely valid, but I find I don't have a lot to add to that, really, because you have pretty much said it. You did this last night, you didn't do it as well without you, I didn't think. Seriously, I felt like, I wonder if it's going through his mind is what you're going to come in. You look good together, though.
Pure gorgeous.
See, it's adjusting the earpiece, isn't it? Crowds are loud.
Sounds great.
She's lost in peaceful dreams, so I turn out the light, lay there in the dark.
Great voice he's got.
Fantastic voice, and
Good
hasn't
touch,
it improved?
And the thought crosses my mind.
You look like brother and sister.
In the morning,
Philomena.
would he ever doubt the way I feel about him in my heart?
You sound lovely, you sound so vulnerable.
Not the brother, Stevie Wonder thing when I'm sitting down on the show.
Did I try in every way to show you every day? You're my only world. If my time on earth, you must face this world without me. Is the love I gave you in the past gonna be enough to last if tomorrow never comes? 'Cause I've lost loved ones in my life who never knew how much I loved them. Now I live with the regret that my true feelings never will reveal. So I made a promise to myself to say each day how much you mean to me. You know that circumstance when there's no second chance to tell you how I feel. If tomorrow never comes, would you know how much I love you? Did I try in every way to show you every day that you're my only world? And if my time on earth was through, you must face this world without me. Is the love I gave you in the past gonna be enough to last if tomorrow never comes? So tell that someone that you love just what you're thinking of if tomorrow never comes. Unbelievable. Voted in the Academy all those weeks ago by you. Now up there duetting with Ronan Keating. Look at them, the teachers are on their feet.
Well, that got
That
better
was
as it
really
went on.
rubbish, wasn't it?
Did it not start off just a trifle shaky? Maybe 20 seconds to get sort of up and round the track.
Sinead, what do you think?
I think it was a bit low for me, so therefore I had to make adjustments.
Yes.
To, you know, it was in Ronan's
They didn't
key.
change the key for Sinead at all?
They didn't change the key. I had to adjust to Ronan's key, which was cool. We had only a few really rehearsals, you know. No excuse either, because if you were out in the real world, I suppose you wouldn't be doing what you do in here. You wouldn't be, you know, if you were working with other professionals, you wouldn't get the chance to sit for hours and hours, because everyone's busy, obviously. Sure. I think I've done all right in that respect, you know. Things could have been improved.
For me, Ronan Keating's performance shows an artist that you can hear those years of experience watching the performances from you guys, and that's not to insult you guys. That's just it shows that difference. And Ronan's voice is a voice that actually years ago I would never have said I liked. In fact, it was probably a voice I would have said I didn't like. But his voice has improved so much; it's just unrecognisable. And just the confidence and the tone, I thought that that's a real example for you guys, actually. It's a real something to strive for, that kind of quality of performance. And actually the chewy sweet thing didn't happen. It must have happened at some other point in the programme. From start to finish, he never loses focus. Actually, neither do you. But he just really, really focused all the way through that. Really, it's a great performance from him. I thought that your performance was really good. I love the fact that you were looking at him. I thought that he provided a great bed of security for you to be able to perform well. And I thought as a duet, your voices worked brilliantly together, actually.
They did.
Voices sound lovely.
Nice.
Really lush sounding vocals.
Country vocal, Sinead, on that one.
Yeah.
Hard to beat country vocals.
Queen of the silver dollar.
But listening to that, I did also, I'm aware immediately that he's on in-ears and you're on monitoring, and I can almost hear that in the voices. If you had your own voice right there in your ear, you'd be correcting it. You'd instinctively, you do it in a millisecond, you correct all the way through, which on monitors you've got that distance between coming back at you all the time. It's slightly slower, or it feels slower as a performer.
It's like when we were doing Freedom, I'm even glad that Kevin moved me from where the initial starting point was.
You had no monitors, you guys.
The second time I started, the monitor was on the left, and it's weird hearing you really loud on the left, and then the song from the monitor behind the students. And when you start, you know.
That's laughing.
It's the fact that he's coming out looking like a boxer who's found out he's fighting in green.
You should see what he wears to bed.
He's unreal.
About 10 jumpers.
I actually believe that Lamar has only actually been half awake during much of that
He slept through the play.
I fell asleep twice.
And funnily enough, that was during your own bit. So your choice of song next week is You Are Not Alone. Well, I mean, I just think there was a second or two there at the start when you were actually both just, you know, getting the temperature for all the reasons that you've talked about. But in the last 30, 40 seconds of that song, I mean, that's exactly how you want your song to finish as well, isn't that sort of memorable moment? You could see the audience.
It worked, you know, it warmed
It
into
worked.
it. You know, it warmed, and as Carrie says, for him being experienced for whatever amount of years, and the rehearsal time that we had, you know, I think it worked.
Do you know what's really, really impressed with you as well? Because there was stuff that I'd remembered in the music room that I thought, I'm going to listen to you out at Elstree, Shepperton, and then go through some notes with you for the song. And particularly when I tried in every way to do a day, all the ends of the lines in the chorus, he pronounced completely differently to you in the rehearsal. By the time you'd gone to Shepperton, you really were listening to his sounds, and you were getting that same, his sound.
He goes, what, the line ends with 1.
I nearly managed, guys, with all the way around the room.
I thought honestly I had two. What was that?
Oh, I got there and I just tried to match him up, you know?
I know. I could really hear that. Because there were things that I must remember to tell you that when you got there, you'd done it all. It's really good. All your blending stuff's really come in handy. You sounded great. Really proud of you.
I was happy looking at that. Don't punish yourself.
Kevin,
Last night Richard went over the prize, right? And included in the prize is a personal trainer. It's not you, is it?
Usual gutted. You up there. I really don't want to win. I think I've been punishing.
For a year.
Can you imagine?
Mr. Adams. Oh, good. He feels the way we feel.
Mr. Adams, I think, is coming down with the flu.
That's a blessing.
But Mr. Adams mean.
He feels the
He's
way
got a
we
bit
feel.
under the weather.
I should wind my neck in.
Wind your
Wind
neck
my
in.
neck in.
Yeah.
Were you talking to the physio?
What now?
Were you talking to her?
No. I was just going to step on that.
I know, yeah. I was going to say, you don't realise how much it is, isn't it? She says I can't do anything except the stretches because of this hip thing. And she said she was going to speak to... She so loves punishing people. It's like... I want him to... I had breakfast planned for today.
Go up to bed.
No, I was going to sit in the stretches. Do the stretches things. She asked me how many of them jumps and... You know, the things they got there every day. I said about 50 each. And she says, that's not exercise, that's cruelty.
Do you do them on your own?
Huh?
Do you do them on your own?
What the... No, she knew
50.
that. No, she knew that we didn't do them on our own.
Oh, okay.
What? What'd you say about me?
What?
I thought he said my name.
That's what I say. That's how every day. She thinks I've said something better.
Do you not think lemons in authority or supposed authority should wind their neck in?
Yeah.
What about your ankle today, Ainsley?
It's not too bad.
Is it swollen?
She said, you see the...
Because we picked on him, he's going to say anything. Sorry,
lower
man.
back,
You can say if
there's
it's
some
bad
muscle and tendon that pulls towards the
Yes,
hip.
if it's bad.
Works with the hip.
Yeah. Your iliopsoas goes through your hip.
So that's the one that's the one that's damaged.
Damaged? How damaged is it?
Superficially, probably. We're still damaged. She had to do ultrasound and stuff on it.
What did you say about your ankles? Ankle line.
She just said I've got very flexible, I don't know what you call that, is it ligaments or whatever it is?
Yeah.
She said I've got very flexible, which makes it, makes a tendency for my ankles to go over. She said she gave me some exercises with going up on my toes. She said when I jump I need to land on my big toe, the ball of my foot, and make sure it's not on the outside. And keep it all on the inside. And take it easy.
I saw as well.
She said take it easy. Oh, that's good. That's twisted. Sinead, did you see her?
I'm fine, well and fit to do everything.
David? I don't care.
Kevin, 2 days off, I'm like a young gazelle ready to leap into action.
I just want to tell okay.
I'm like a coiled spring this morning, Kevin.
You've only done about one class in 2 weeks.
Me?
Yeah.
See, now, me, I'm a different
Oh, that's...
case.
I'm glad you're well.
No, seriously, what she said, no, seriously, she said, because the same thing, like the bottom of my back is quite thing, so I've got to just stretch it more before I think. But I did a couple of stretches this morning before the class. But it's painful.
Jesus. We listen to you, lot.
She said she was supposed to see you last night too.
She said what?
She's supposed to see you last night. You're supposed to have an injury this week.
Work on my hip and...
That's when your calf. They must have booked her to see you as well. Then you wanted to be seen.
Please, I've got backache. I've had a ripped hamstring since I started
competition
this
standard.
job.
You are.
She was going to do a bit of work on you, but then you weren't about to be worked on.
Why is she telling you that? What is she? The Oracle?
Oracle!
Jesus.
She said you'd just pop out for a while.
Should have just popped out for a while.
The Oracle.
Well,
So bad looking. Makes me even worse looking. I just do it to annoy him.
It doesn't annoy me anymore.
Your love has grown past that.
He's come to accept it. The love is too strong.
You're lame.
Mr. Park was good crack this morning.
So he actually does be on us at 8 o'clock sometimes.
Alright.
That was all recorded.
Even the replies. David, are you up? Lamar, are you up?
What song was it that woke up this morning?
I'm crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Do you get that?
Lovely.
No, but I can just hear it faintly through the soundproof door. I was like, what is that?
It's a great song to wake up to.
It didn't really wake me up. You know, that's the thing. You know when something's really loud and can't continuously wake you up in the morning?
It was
You're
too
lazy
nice.
like me.
Fall back
After a while,
again.
your body finds a way to just tune it out. So here,
It used to.
yeah. So it's just like now I just hear this. It becomes part of my dream now.
Don't you hear about my dreams last night?
No, because they're bound to be.
The door
X-rated.
opened about 3 times last night. The third time it opened, right? I was lying there. Gonna crack a mental. Poor old Malachi got up. It was good of him.
It must be so annoying.
Nah, I'm just opposite the door, and as soon as it opens, the bloody blankets lift, and I get the full blast in under the sheets.
Are you naked?
No, we were wearing a pair of briefs, but
That must be freezing.
Boy, I've got
Disgusting.
pure tracks it up there.
I was gonna put my foot through that door the second time.
then she realised that would cause a draft.
Stop it from opening.
It doesn't matter.
Blow up. Sure, it opens. You lock it, and it opens anyway.
Do you know what got me? You know the day that it was making that banshee noise? I thought you were joking, but when I went into the room, I thought someone was like doing something outside, but it wasn't. It was the noise of the window that was going through the whole night. It's like that noise. Constantly, it was.
The security guard came into my room about 4. I told you that story, haven't I? 4 o'clock in the morning. There's a window open. Get a beep out of you, beep me mad. There's a window open. Not in here, Thor. Get out.
Oh, did you know the story about me and Sinead? Oh, why did you see these? We got t-shirts made.
And cars.
Design.
I've got to stop bashing you because I can just see a whole 20-minute montage of me bashing Malachi.
Me and Sinead have an interview today. You know that? I'm just telling you.
What time?
12.
What time does class finish?
Not sure. It's for a TV, live linked to John
Class finishes at 11.
TV show.
Okay, what time's class finish?
11.
11.
11? What was it? I suppose an hour I'll have to do then to make myself presentable.
Fuck that noise, me.
Yeah!
I feel like an old man about 70 with false hips that he hasn't got in yet.
Oh. He wasn't limping yesterday. All of a sudden she told him it was bad and now he's limping.
What is it, son?
What is it, son?
I don't know. What is it, son? What ails you?
What ails you? Yeah.
Hard as a lonely hunter.